She found him dying, offered her flask, not knowing her water would keep him alive, but not human. The desert on this world was not like Earth's deserts. The sands were black, glittering like powdered obsidian under the pale violet sun. Wind carried heat that bit into the skin like fire, and the horizon was a blurred shimmer that made it impossible to tell if anything ahead was real or a mirage. Lyra trudged forward, her boots crunching on the glassy grains. Her breathing was shallow under her scarf, conserving what little moisture she had left. She was 3 days into her trek to the outpost, 3 days since her own camp had been destroyed, when she saw the shape ahead. At first, she thought it was debris from a wreck, but then it moved. She stopped. Her hand went instinctively to the dagger at her hip. The shape resolved into a man, a human, by the look of his face and build, sprawled on the sand, one arm dragging weakly toward the shade of a jagged rock. His lips were cracked, his skin burned red under the alien sun. He was dying. Lyra's instincts told her to keep moving. Resources were scarce. The desert didn't forgive charity. But there was something in his eyes when they opened, that flicker of awareness, of desperate will, that made her stop. "You're not going to make it," she said, voice muffled behind the scarf. His cracked lips barely formed words. "Water." Lyra hesitated, then unhooked the flask from her belt. It was nearly half empty, her most precious possession right now. But she crouched, pressed the metal to his mouth, and tipped it gently. The man gulped greedily, coughing as the liquid hit his throat. It wasn't normal water. Lyra hadn't drunk normal water in years. The flask held aqua virith, the lifeblood of her people, a shimmering, slightly viscous liquid from deep beneath the black sands. It didn't just hydrate. It healed, nourished, and strengthened. But it also changed you. She didn't think about that until the last drop left the flask and his head fell back, eyes fluttering closed. For a moment, she thought she'd killed him. Then his breathing steadied. Color returned to his face. And then she saw it. Faint, almost imperceptible, but unmistakable to her eyes, a silver sheen creeping along the veins in his neck. Her stomach tightened. Oh no! When he woke, the sky had darkened to violet dusk. He sat up slowly, blinking at her. Where am I?" "Still in the Dura's wastes," she replied, sitting cross-legged nearby. "You were nearly dead when I found you." He ran a hand over his face, wincing. "I remember heat, light, then nothing." His voice sounded stronger than it should have for someone who had been at death's edge. Lyra studied him. His pupils reflected faintly in the dim light, not quite human anymore. His skin looked smoother, healthier, but there was an unnatural vitality to it, the kind she had only seen in her own kind. "What's your name?" she asked. "Kale." He paused. "You." "Lyra." He noticed the empty flask lying between them. That water wasn't normal. She looked away. "No, it wasn't." He frowned. "What did you give me?" "The only thing I had to keep you alive," she said carefully. "But you need to understand it will change you." Kale gave a hollow laugh. "Change me? In what way?" She met his gaze. "You're not going to be completely human anymore." The first signs appeared the next morning. They were resting in the shadow of a rock formation when Kale held up his hands, staring at his skin. "Lyra, why does it look like this?" Thin, iridescent patterns shimmered faintly across his palms, like veins of silver etched under the surface. Lyra had seen them before. They were the marks of those who carried aqua virith in their blood. "It's the water," she said. "It doesn't just heal wounds. It binds to your body, strengthens it, but it also rewrites you." Kale flexes fingers. "Rewrites me how?" "You'll be stronger, faster. You'll heal faster than normal. But," she hesitated, "you'll need more of it. Ordinary water won't keep you alive now." He looked sharply at her. "And if I don't get more?" She didn't answer. She didn't need to. They walked together toward the outpost, Kale keeping pace with surprising ease despite his recent near-death. He asked questions about the desert, about the water, about her people. Lyra answered cautiously. Her people were not human, though they could pass for it at a glance. They had lived here long before humans colonized the Outer Rim, sustained by the underground rivers of aqua virith. Humans who drank it either died, if their bodies rejected it, or changed, slowly becoming more like her kind. By the third day, Kale was already stronger than he had been. He could carry more, walk longer without rest. But his eyes had taken on the faint silver glow of hers. "You're turning me into one of you," he said one night, staring at the reflection of his eyes in a shard of metal. I didn't plan for this, Lyra said quietly. I just couldn't leave you to die. Then what happens to me now? You'll survive, but not as the man you were. They reached the outskirts of the outpost on the 7th day. Cale was no longer the broken man she had found. He moved with steadiness and purpose that felt alien, even to himself. But when they approached the gates, Lyra tensed. The outpost guard were human, and they knew the signs of her kind. If they saw Cale's eyes, his veins, they would mark him as altered. And altered humans were not welcome. Sure enough, the guard's expression hardened as they approached. One stepped forward, rifle raised slightly. State your business. Passing through, Lyra said, keeping her voice even. The guard's gaze fixed on Cale. You're not from here, and you're not entirely human, are you? Cale's jaw tightened. Does it matter? The guard's finger twitched near the trigger. It matters. Lyra stepped between them. He's with me. That's worse, the guard said flatly. We don't let your kind inside. Either of you. Cale glanced at her. We could force our way in. She shook her head. No, too many civilians would die. Then what? Her eyes softened just slightly. Then you come with me, away from here. They turned back into the desert. For hours, they walked without speaking. Finally, Cale broke the silence. I should be angry, he said. You gave me something that took away my humanity. She glanced at him. And yet you're alive. He was quiet for a while. And I'm stronger, faster, healthier than I've ever been. Yes, she said, but you'll always need the water now. Without it, you'll wither. Humans will fear you. Some will hunt you. And you, he asked, will you stay? Lyra looked ahead, toward the black horizon. I found you. That means I'm responsible for you. For the first time since he woke in the desert, Cale smiled faintly. Then I guess I'm not alone. She didn't smile back, but her voice was warmer when she answered, No, you're not. In the months that followed, Cale learned to live in the wastes. He learned to find the underground springs, to take only what was needed. His strength grew beyond what he thought possible, but so did the silver in his skin, the glow in his eyes. He was no longer the man he had been, but he was alive. And Lyra was still there, walking beside him. Some nights, when the wind howled over the dunes, he would think back to the moment she knelt beside him, flask in hand. He would remember the burn of the water as it hit his throat, and the way her eyes had looked when she realized what she'd done. And he would wonder, not with anger, but with something like gratitude, if maybe losing his humanity had been worth surviving.